live from the Neverland Theatre, your host, Gary Starr.
Hello, a very good evening to you. Welcome wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Join us right now for StageToStream.tv live from Skeg, Vegas. It's so wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for joining us this evening here for our show. We've got some great guests tonight, oh yes, and plenty of banter and chat. Before we start, once again, what we're going to ask you to do is simply give the page a like or a share to your friends who may find this amusing. Do it now. Give us some love, send some love hearts, send some likes, all them kind of things. Do it now. Let's get in the mood for love. We missed Valentine's Day. Anyway, good. Anyway, speaking of Valentine's Day, hello to Jonathan Booth, who's got us on Big to Ellie tonight. Yes, he's out there watching it now. And Yvette Pepper, thank you for just liking this page. It's about time. Good. Let's find out what's on tonight. Ooh. Live tonight on StageToStream.tv, Rhiannon Porter and Bippo. It's live from the Neverland Theatre in Skegness, here on... Yes, how very exciting. Did you have a nice Valentine's Day? Not just Johnny, but everybody. Did you have a nice Valentine's Day? It doesn't matter, does it? It don't matter. It don't matter. As long as you're happy in lockdown or whatever you're doing, don't matter. All right, I think it's time for You Know What, You Know Who. Yes, it's Right Hand Ruthie.
Right hand Ruthie, right hand Ruthie.
Right hand Ruthie.
Yeah.
How are you, Ruthie?
Yeah, it's happened again.
What?
Headphones.
Oh, well, it shouldn't bop so well.
Got it.
Yeah, it's good. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Yes, nice to see you this evening.
Oh, and you?
Yeah? Did you have a nice Valentine's Day? What did you do?
I took dogs for a walk.
Took dogs for a walk.
Big walk. Yeah. Found a snake.
You didn't find a snake, did you?
No, it was a shoelace, but Nana got a bit worried about it. She thought it was a snake.
I should point out, Nana did not get worried about it. You do the voice for Nana, which means you got worried that it's a snake and did the voice for Nana saying it's a snake. Well, let's relive that moment, shall we?
No, let's not.
Let's do it.
Right hand Ruthie, right hand Ruthie.
Right hand Ruthie.
Oh, no.
That was it. That was your cue.
Oh, was it? Oh, sorry, I missed it.
I was giving you a big play in there to be Nana Dog, doing the voice, discovering a snake, and then you telling her, oh, no, it's not a snake. Calm down, Nana. It's only a shoelace.
Sorry, I missed it.
All right, well, let's do it again. Let's go to Right Hand Ruthie in Social Media Corner, being Nana, finding a shoelace, and imagine that it's actually her that thinks it's a snake but blames the dog.
Right hand Ruthie, right hand Ruthie.
Right hand Ruthie.
Oh, Sharon, it's a snake. No, Nana, it's fine. It's not a snake. Oh, are you sure? Yeah, it's just a shoelace. Okay.
Brilliant. Why does she call you Sharon?
Right hand Ruthie.
I'm not going to do that again. Why does she call you Sharon?
Well, she can't pronounce her R's.
There's R's in Sharon.
Yeah, but it's a soft R on a Sharon, but it's a hard one on a Ruth.
A hard one on Ruth. There we go.
That's
okay.
the same as when I worked at Disney Paris. Drop. I was called Wendy because it was easier to pronounce, apparently.
For the French.
Yeah.
It's another interesting story from Right Hand Ruthie over in Social Media Corner. Speaking of Social Media Corner, what's going on tonight?
We've got lots of comments going on in the stream already. So if you're not part of it, hop over to the main page, StageToStream.tv on Facebook. If you're watching on any of the other places we're sharing it, stop watching it there. Head on over to StageToStream.tv. Hop in the comments, give me a wave, say hello. We're still running our rubbish competition, seeing how far around the world we can get. We're still in Dubai. We did get to Athens, but that hasn't been verified. But yes, we made it to Athens. So if you are further away than Athens or Dubai, let us know. But we started the stream with a nice poem.
You did a poem, did you?
I did a
I've
poem.
not looked at chat yet. I've just seen that Skegness Official are out there watching this evening. Hello to Skegness Official. Wherever you are, welcome to StageToStream.tv. Hello. But right now, let's have some poetry from Ruth. What was your poem that you did?
Well, every time I start the stream, I try to just, hi everyone, hey, put a nice little thing, and I thought, it's an opportunity to make it a bit more rhymey, because that is a word. I've been working on this for quite some time.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Happy Monday, Stage to Streamers. What a show we have for you tonight. It's full of singers and clowns to bring smiles in lockdown.
What?
So, wait.
What?
Wait.
That's
not
not
finished.
poetry. Oh, go on.
So sit back and relax and just add snacks. Moonface poetry.
That's not poetry.
Well, it is. It rhymes.
No, it doesn't.
Well, it does.
How does that rhyme? That's not proper poetry. That's not proper writing prose. Tell me the first line.
What?
What's the first line?
Well, it's full of singers and clowns to bring smiles in lockdowns.
Right.
Yeah, that rhymes. Clowns and downs.
No, because what was the first bit that you said?
Happy Monday, Stage to Streamers. What a show we have for you tonight. That's not part of it. That's just...
What do you mean it's not part of it? You can't do that as part of your poem.
That's like the bridge into it, like the four bit, the pre-bit, pre-poetry section.
Right, okay, so that's not part of the poem.
No, but it adds to it,
Right, okay.
like an announcement.
Yeah, but it's not if you say, here's the poem, and then read that, because people would judge you for poor poetry. And we know that the people out there watching tonight are good on poetry.
I've worked on that all weekend.
Well, just read it without the first bit then.
Well, I feel it loses a bit of the punch.
No, go on.
What a show we have. Oh, no, I can't start there. Oh, it's full of singers and clowns. What doesn't explain what it is? It's full of singers and clowns to bring smiles in lockdowns. So sit back and relax and just add snacks.
Yeah, you see, that's relatively better, in a way.
Better?
Relatively. Don't correct my
better.
grammar.
It's not grammar,
Because,
it's enunciation.
Yeah, well, whatever. So...
Enunciate.
Oh, a bit splashy, a bit sibilant. Anyway, listen. Let's stop stealing our fellow partridge.
Hold
on.
right there.
Go on.
Harry Stedman. Hi, Harry. I have words for you now. You popped in the chat before and you said you liked my poem, and I said thanks for working on it all weekend. You've just come on now, Harry Stedman, and said hashtag Ruth can't rhyme.
Hashtag Ruth can't run. Yeah. Well, there you go. So, for those of you that have just joined us, welcome. If you do want to get social tonight, there are many ways you can get social. Yeah. Ruthie, why don't you tell people how they can get social tonight with you on StageToStream.tv?
Well, feel free to hop in the comments. Apparently, I'm getting lots of backlash on there.
Yeah.
Jonathan Booth saying poems don't have to rhyme. However, I'm afraid, Ruth, that was just bad.
Well, they don't have to rhyme, but if you're gonna go into poetic, rhyme, then you have to do it in rhyme. It can't do half and half. Anyway, go on. So how else can they get in touch with you this evening?
Obviously so hop in the comments. You can you can drop me a message in my inbox.
Yes.
Or alternatively, you can call. No, don't call. Text or WhatsApp. That's the one.
Yeah.
And the number is on the screen. It's on my left side. It's here.
It is there.
Is it right there?
Yeah.
It's right there. What's the number, Gary?
It's 075108105. Yeah. Good.
There you go.
Yvette's jumped in on this. Look, yeah, Jonathan Booth. My thoughts exactly. Doesn't have to rhyme. It does have to be good, though.
Right. I spent a lot of time working on that.
That's good. Must do better. 3 out of 10. Anything else you want to talk about this evening? Because we've got two fabulous guests this evening.
Oh, we have.
We've got Rhiannon Porter, who was in the tour of Les Mis and Jesus Christ Superstar, and of course she was in the Eurovision Song Contest.
That was good. We watched that.
We did, yeah, very good. And also Bippo is here tonight as well. Very exciting. We're going to talk about all things circus and comedy acting and much, much more. Are you ready for this, Ruthie?
I think so, yeah. I'm just concentrating on the comments at the minute.
Are they good comments?
Well, Harry's jumping back on again, getting involved.
Well,
I'm hopeful it will get better. It'll get better and better as the week progresses.
Nice, yeah. Well, and also I should point out that Tommy Rollison's he's proved how poetry works by saying everyone watch Stage to Stream TV and listen to people's CV. It's kind of better than yours.
Thanks, Tommy.
Yeah. So, if you want to get involved this evening, jump on there right now and get involved, because that's what it's about. That's what we're here for this evening. Chat. Lots of chat. And speaking of chat, it's almost time for our first guest. Very excited indeed. Yes, but before we do, let's have a very quick look. A very good evening. Hello, Rhiannon Porter, all the way in Wales. I think that's where you are. Hello, how are you?
Hi! Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yes, we're very good this evening. We're having a ball this evening. We're just chatting about poetry and such like, because we are that highbrow.
Wow.
Yeah. So how's it going for you? Are you all well?
I am, as well as can be. Yeah,
good.
Yeah. Plodding along.
Where are you in the world? Is it in Wales right now?
Yes, I am in Wales.
Oh, that's good. And your internet works, so a bonus. So, Rhiannon, we're going to talk about all things this evening. We're going to talk about how you did the Eurovision, which is very exciting. We're going to talk about how you were in Les Mis, and I see the poster above your head, and also how you did Jesus Christ, the tour, the arena tour, which is very exciting. Before all that, just give us a brief introduction to you and how you got into the business, as it were.
Well, I was a bit unconventional, really. So I didn't train anywhere, so I didn't go to drama school. I had like singing and dancing lessons growing up. I think I had my first dancing lesson when I was like 2 years old. And then I went to my local college and did a BTEC in performing arts. And then about a month after I finished my college BTEC, I saw an advert in the Stage newspaper for, they had open auditions for the Les Mis 25th anniversary tour. And they were having them in Cardiff at the Millennium Centre. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll pop along. So I queued up with my dad at about 4 o'clock in the morning, and finally got seen that afternoon, and didn't really know what to expect. I was a bit nervous, but I was like, oh, I've never done anything like this before, so just go for it, got nothing to lose. And then a couple of weeks later, I had a phone call saying, we'd like to see you again, can you come to London? And obviously that was the first time I'd ever been asked to go to London for something. And then, about 2 months of auditions later, and then it was actually on, I think, around my birthday, I got offered the tour. I got offered ensemble and cover Fontaine and Eponine, and I was 20. Yeah, I was only 20 when I did it. So.
That's amazing. That's very impressive. I love the fact you're not trained. It probably annoys so many people, but that's what we like, because neither am I. Good. So you did the Les Mis tour, which is, absolutely incredible. Then, of course, the other, major thing you did was, and it was an absolute spectacle, was Jesus Christ, the arena tour, which was just massive. How was that?
Honestly, when I look back on it now, it was the most incredible time of my life. I mean, we were performing in arenas to thousands of people every night. And then we got to go to Australia as well for nearly 2 months to tour the arenas in Australia. And I got to work with incredible people. I remember before I'd even had an audition for it, I saw that they'd announced that Tim Minchin was going to play Judas.
Of course.
And
my twin brother.
And obviously me and my sister, both huge fans, and we were like, oh my God, we have to go and see it. We have to buy tickets. And then I ended up being in it.
Amazing. And there was loads of people in that, wasn't there? There was Chris Moyles was in it.
Yes.
And your favourite Spice Girl. which has a link, I believe, to other things that you've done. Yeah,
Yes.
you've done Spice Girls tribute and everything.
Sporty Spice.
Yeah, and of course,
Sporty Spice. I was her understudy.
amazing.
Yeah, and then a couple of years later, I pop off to Edinburgh Fringe to do Wannabe Spice Girls show, playing
Amazing.
Sporty Spice.
Amazing. So, I mean, that was such a massive undertaking, the arena tour. How was that different from theatre, do you think? Was it? Because, I mean, it was huge, wasn't it? It was a massive cast. And
It was more like a rock concert than a theatre show. Definitely. On the scale of it was just insane. I mean, the amount of crew we had, and we had, because obviously it was arenas, so we had it being beamed onto these huge screens as well. So I remember in rehearsals, it was a completely different rehearsal process. I mean, one being the set was just a staircase, just a huge staircase with parts of it that were going down at certain points and stuff, and learning choreography on stairs as well is mind-blowing.
with that, is there a lot of counting steps for the actors as well, of going, you're 25 steps down, so walk down 25 steps? Was it like that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there were a few times a couple of people might have fallen down the steps in rehearsals. But luckily everyone was pretty much okay. But even we had cameramen on stage with us as well while we were performing. So it didn't matter if you were at the very top, right at the back of the set, there'd be a cameraman with a camera shoved in your face. Amazing. As well. Yeah, it was incredible. And
you say you were understudy for that. Did you get to step in, or was she just never ill?
No, Mel C is an absolute machine. She never got ill. Never, ever. I mean, she's Sporty Spice. She's so fit. So, you know.
Were you not tempted to just push just once?
No.
No, of course, that would be awful, wouldn't it? You would never do that. But yeah, I would have done, But there you go. Anyway, so that's amazing. And then, of course, the most recent thing you've done, which was incredible, and we remember watching this, was you were in Goldstone, which did the Eurovision, which is incredible. How was that?
Very, very surreal experience. So it aired. So this was 2018, I think it was. Around this time about. In 2018, but we actually had our first audition for it in the September before, so it was a really long process of going back and forth with the producers and the songwriters and choosing a song, and even down to like our look and how and the choreography as well. It was a very, very long process, and all leading up to this one night at the Brighton Dome. But the Eurovision team are amazing. They're absolutely amazing. They're so supportive as well, because you're sort of just being thrust into the limelight. I mean, we were live on primetime BBC Two, and it was, a public vote as to who would, represent the UK. Yeah. So we had like all our media training and stuff like that. And it was a whirlwind. It was a crazy whirlwind, but it was so exciting. And we just felt like pop stars. We felt like absolute pop stars. We got compared to Little Mix a lot, which is a massive compliment.
Absolutely,
I'll take that.
Yeah, it was. I mean, normally at this point we would show a clip. However, with the way that everybody jumps on our algorithms and stuff, we get sort of muted straight away. But what we're going to do is I'm going to get Ruth to put the link of you guys performing in the Eurovision, because it's incredible and it would have been amazing to show, but it will just be on mute the whole time. But we'll drop that in the comments so people can have a bit of a look at that, because it was incredible. And of course, you got to go places, didn't you? After that, you got to tour around the world effectively to different places.
Yeah, I mean, we even did another competition which is very, very similar to Eurovision. So we went to Astana, which is in Kazakhstan, and it sounds. You say Kazakhstan, you think of Borat straight away.
I did straight away. I don't want to say it.
So So we went there, and it was effectively, I guess, I think they wanted to be part of Eurovision.
Yeah.
So they had to show that they could put on a show of the same scale as Eurovision. So it was pretty much the same setup as Eurovision. There was acts from all around the world, and we represented the UK. We had to sing 2 songs. The first song we had to learn in Kazakh, so that was interesting.
All right.
Yes. And then the second song was just a song of our choice.
Nice.
And we won. We ended up winning that.
Amazing.
So yeah, we were for the voice of Astana.
Do you remember any of the lyrics in Kazakhstan?
Absolutely not. No, I couldn't sing you one single line from that song.
Do you know any words from Kazakhstan?
That's on YouTube somewhere as well. If you type in the voice of Astana, Goldstone, we'll be on there.
Right. She's on it. The voice of Astana Goldstone. Because, well, I need to see this now myself. This is amazing. Just because it'll be Borat the whole way through, like you say. Amazing. Love it. Right, we're gonna go to Ruthie, because we've got. I see the social media is going crazy tonight. So we're gonna go and find out what we've got going on over in social media corner. I know she's googling at the same time. Hello, Ruthie.
Hello.
Are you all right? Are you social mediaing as well at the same time?
I am.
Yeah. How's it going?
It's going all
Have you found them links?
Well, I'm just going through them, and then you surprise me.
No. Well, I'm wondering whether if it was on Kazakhstan TV, whether Facebook would mute as a care about couple. I don't know.
Who knows?
You know.
We'll give it a try and see what happens.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you have a look for that. What have we got on social media this evening?
Oh, we've got lots going on. Lots and lots and lots and lots.
Go on. Hit me with it.
We've got lots of questions. So first of all, we want to know the best piece of advice you have ever been given in relation to performing and touring and shows in general, and by whom?
Oh, and by whom? Oh, well, I've got a terrible memory, so I wouldn't be able to tell you by whom. Not to take anything for granted, I think, especially after this past year.
Yeah.
I think I was very guilty of that, especially in my first job with Les Mis, because, like I said, I was so young at the time, and it was my first job. And looking back on it, I think I did take it for granted, and I would give anything, absolutely anything, to be back on stage right now. Believe in yourself as well. I've suffered with it a lot in the past, where I've had a lot of audition anxiety as well, and feeling like I'm not good enough, always comparing myself to others, which can be very, very damaging as well. And I've personally suffered with that quite badly in the past. I'm a lot better now as I've got older. I don't tend to compare myself to other people. I still do sometimes, because it's just the nature of the business, I guess. Everyone's in competition with each other, even though we all support each other. You see if someone's been for the same role that you were up for and they get it, there's always going to be a little bit of jealousy. But
it's strange, isn't it? Because the audition process, it's my because I sit on the other side quite frequently and audition people, and if I can get out of doing them, I will do. Ruth will vouch for this, because I generally send her off to do them. I actually hate doing them. I think they're awful. They're very much kind of like, I don't know. It just feels like I can't even explain it. It's just horrendous. But I genuinely don't. I dislike very much the audition process. I think, it's just a weird thing of picking somebody for a certain reason or a certain look. It just, it doesn't sit right. But we have to do it, because that's the industry we're in. But and
it's also taken me nearly 10 years to realise that if you get so far, you're obviously talented enough to be in the room in the first place. You wouldn't have been called in. But secondly, if you get so far with it, like I've got to finals for a lot of shows, and you don't get it, it's between you and a couple of other people. It's nothing to do with you or how you were in that audition. It's just to fit the rest of the cast that they've already got. It's for me, sometimes it's been down to my height. I've either been too tall, or I don't know, it could be anything.
Yeah.
It could be absolutely anything, but it will never be about your talent. So never doubt yourself or doubt your talent.
Yeah, good advice. Good advice. Absolutely. You know, we've done it before, and also it's about. I think an important thing for auditions is you're judged from the moment you walk in that room. So you can be the best actress in the world, but if you walk in and you know you're not approachable and you're just how you look as well when you walk in the room. I've always said that if you're going for like a guy going for a villainous character, if you kind of walk in and you have that aura about you, then you know that already sets you in the right place. You know, and it's the same with everything. I think you kind of. It's the way you carry yourself from right from the moment you walk in, because people can switch. People can walk in and have, you know, we've done it before where they've got no personality and it's very kind of hard work, and then suddenly they'll switch and they're amazing. But then equally you go, I don't think I could work with you because you know, and nobody else could because you know you're so. Yeah, it's weird, but it's an important thing to, especially in this business, to kind of understand with it. So, yeah. Let's go back to Ruthie for another question. Hello, Ruthie.
Hello. Well, I was going to add to that actually, because we did obviously when we do our auditions for our own company, we spent a little bit of time actually doing some experimental auditions as well. You know what it's like? How obviously for dance auditions, you've got thousands of dancers in one room and they're all waiting, and it's a very quick process, and out you go and the next lot come in. And like you say, you are judged on certain things. It can be hair colour, it can be literally anything. But with acting and singing, obviously you need to be seen separately for a lot of stuff. So we actually, but again, that could be quite intimidating as well. You know, one person walking into a room, you've got an entire panel sat in front of you and people panic. So we decided, this was, I mean, crikey, we're talking, when we first did this, must have been about 6 years ago, to have everyone in the room. So everyone that we'd picked for the day to come down to audition, we had them all in the room, and everybody watched everybody else's auditions. But we weren't necessarily just watching the person that was auditioning. You're watching everyone around them and how they react. You know, if they give you a clap at the end, whether they're, you know, watching and being an audience member, and how you would expect audience members, you know, to be polite when someone's performing, or if they're sort of sat in the corner on their phone bored, you know.
I was going to mention that was one person who was brilliant in the audition, but throughout everybody else's audition, she was texting and then suddenly came to life and was like, "Hi, yes, my turn," and it was like that was a bit.
But it's that's the thing. Like, you're being watched as soon as you enter into that, and you've just got to be aware of it, haven't you? I think. You know, because it's like you say, it's about being talented, and you've got where you've got for your talent. But then once you're in that room, make sure that people like you as well. Like I think that's a big thing. Like, because if you can't work with people and sort of, you know, be amenable to what's been asked of you, or what's just watching and being respectful as well, you go, no, not that one. Look at her, no, she's on her phone. How rude. So we spent a lot of time doing those kind of experimental auditions, and it was quite fun from our point of view. People watching, we enjoyed doing that quite a lot. It was good.
Yeah, another thing I'm going to point out as well, because this is interesting about when we talk about auditions and stuff, but also if you're in this industry, just be wary of what you put on social media.
Oh my goodness, absolutely.
It's horrific, because as producers, it's the first thing you do. You Google somebody's name, and you know, you see some people pop up and you go, wow, incredibly racist or incredibly homophobic. We're not going to even go anywhere near them. And, you know, so it's them little bits that people I don't think quite comprehend a lot of the time. So that's
well, I think with that as well, that's where things have changed. Like when I first started back long time ago, when I was doing auditions and things, like things like Facebook was, you know, it was out, but it wasn't like a huge thing. Whereas nowadays, particularly fresh college leavers and graduates and things like that, it's all about your social media reach, how many followers. It's almost like they're looking for the influencers as well. So they'll ask you now on your CV to put your handles and everything so they can look for you, to make sure you've got like your professional page ready and all that kind of stuff. But it's certainly a whole new approach to stuff like that. That's now expected of you in the audition room, to be, you know, to give all your details, all your social media handles, so people can look. You know, one, to make sure that you're suitable, and two, it's also on a lot of, you know, how much reach have you got, how many people are following you to push that product. It's certainly changed a lot, I think,
And also as well with the cancel culture as well that you have now, you know, with you know, people will go back over your history. So you know, if you were horrific you know, a while ago, probably best to go back and start deleting, because it does, though, it catches up, doesn't it? How was it for you with auditions though? Did you have that confidence, you know, in what you did, or were you just constantly going, well, there's going to be somebody better than me all the time?
There was definitely a point where I thought that, yeah. And it wasn't actually, I mean, when I first started out, I didn't really have it. I was really, really nervous. And I remember one of my Les Mis callbacks, my mum came with me, and I very, very nearly didn't go in because I was so terrified to go in. And I did eventually in the end. And if you don't, I mean, if you, obviously you're going to get nervous for auditions. If you don't get nervous for auditions, then there's something wrong. But I mean, it wasn't even that long ago. It was only a couple of years ago where I had about 6, 7 or 8 months of auditioning, and I wasn't auditioning well at all.
Yeah.
Because I had really bad audition anxiety. I felt like I wasn't good enough, and it showed in my auditions. Looking back on those auditions now, I mean, I remember I had an audition for Six, which is a show that so many people have said to me, "Oh my God, you're perfect for that show. You should be in that show." And I didn't get past the first round for it. And when I look back, it was because I went in with the wrong attitude, for one, which is what you just said. I think it's, you can tell when someone either doesn't want to be there, or is just going through the motions, which is how I felt like I was, what I felt like I was doing at the time. I was just comparing myself to the girl who'd been in before me. Yeah. And well, she smashed that, so what's the point of me even going in? Yeah, you kind of self-defeat before you even go in. And I've seen that happen, you know, I've seen that, you know, people coming in and mentioning the person before, which is crazy. So it can certainly happen. I mean, luckily I'm past that now. I mean, just before lockdown happened, I was auditioning probably the best I ever have in 10 years. I was in the finals for Bat Out of Hell. Like everything I was going for, I was in the finals for. Bat Out of Hell. I got really far for Wicked as well. Wicked was my last audition before lockdown happened, so that was a year ago. That was my last time in the audition room, which is crazy to think about. And I came out of that audition, and I think it was like a week later or something, lockdown, or there were sort of rumours of lockdown happening, and that was it. But I was auditioning the best, you know, the best I've auditioned. So I just hope I haven't lost it now. I hope that when auditions finally do start happening again, that, you know, I can go back to where I was just over a year ago. Absolutely. I mean, you mentioned Wicked there, and we had this conversation because we did an outdoor show a fair few years ago now, and in that show you sung Defying Gravity, and I said at the end of it, I said, I've never heard anybody sing it like that apart from Adina when she did it. You should be the Wicked Witch. And it just gave me shivers. That was, of course, you know, not just due to being outdoors and cold, but it was incredible. So yeah, such a happy memory of that strange show that we made up as we did as we went. Ruthie, give us another one.
Okay, right. So just sort of brushing on what you're saying about you know, that sort of anxiety feeling and that kind of thing. Do you have anything that you do? So like the last thing that you do before you step out onto the stage, any rituals or lucky charms or meditation, or what calms your nerves or what gives you that edge?
Ooh, every performer is different. Every performer has got some little ritual that they do. For me, it's not that. Obviously, making sure I'm fully warm vocally, physically, depending on the show. But as long as I've got a good playlist to listen to as I'm getting ready to get me in the mood for a show, then I'm good. I'm really good. And then nothing compares to standing on the side of the stage, just as the lights go down and you can hear the audience start to settle down, and then the first note of the overture starts, and then it doesn't matter how long you've been doing the show. If you've been doing the show for a year, or if it's the first night, it just does something to you, and just butterflies, absolute butterflies every single time. Doesn't matter what show I've done, whether it's been Les Mis, Superstar, doing my ABBA tribute shows, Spice Girls, everything. As soon as that first note hits and you step on stage, it's turned into a completely different person.
Yeah, I like that. It's good. Right, Ruthie, give us another one.
Okay, where are we looking? Right. What is the dream role or project / show?
Obviously Wicked. Well, I think every female performer in musical theatre, their dream is to be in Wicked. And I never thought it was going to be a reality until last year, where I got so far for it. And there's a point in the audition process for Wicked, when you get so far, they call you in for a work session. So it's not an audition, but you're in the room with all the creative team and the musical director, and you just go through all of the material, and they tell you what they're looking for. They tell you what to do to get the role. And it's fascinating. I've got the whole hour-long session recorded on my phone. Amazing. Which I will keep forever. So that's when I sort of thought, oh, this might actually happen. But Wicked, I'd love to do Les Mis again. It's got a very special place in my heart, because it was my first job. I'd love to do it again and do it in London. I'd love to go in again and play a role rather than understudy it. I'd love to play Fantine, especially now I'm a bit older as well. I'd love to play Fantine. And also We Will Rock You as well. We Will Rock You doesn't get enough credit these days. It's still one of my favourite shows of all time. It was one of the first musicals I ever went to see. Scaramouche and We Will Rock You.
Love it. Love it. And of course, you're a big Queen fan. We know this.
Yes.
So that would sit quite nicely. Ruth, we've got time for one more this evening. Okay. What have you got?
Well, it's a biggie.
Oh, go on.
It's a little bit philosophical in a way, but kind of not. So if you had all the power in the world to change one thing in the industry, what would it be?
All right. It's a bit heavy.
I know. It's good, though. Oh, it's a thinker one.
The audition process.
The audition process. Get it gone. This one's from Beverly.
Okay.
Oh, hi, Beverly. Wow, what a question. If I could change one thing. Oh, I mean, there's a lot I could say, but I won't. Oh, gosh. I don't know. I mean, back in the day, I probably would have said the audition process, and the way, and sometimes, you don't get, you get so far for a show, and then all of a sudden it's just complete radio silence. Yeah. You don't hear anything back, a yes or a no. They are starting to get a bit better with that. There's always room for improvement. There were still shows up until last year I was auditioning for, and you just wouldn't hear anything. Even just a little bit of feedback. If you didn't get it, tell me why I didn't get it. If there's anything I can work on, improve on for the next time I see you. Apart from that, I love the industry. I love it. And I don't think I'd change anything about it. Although if there was one thing I could change, it would be that we could get back on stage right now.
Yeah, that would be good. I've just seen one very important question, and this is from Tommy Rollison, who was Prince for a day, and he put, any tips on getting a free coffee?
He's followed that up with, no, I have not let it go.
Oh,
no. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Tommy. I'm sorry. What can I say? I was the princess. I was playing Cinderella. Cinderella gets free coffee.
Yeah. He was gutted because not only that, this happened. I turned up to see the last show that Tommy was stepping in for, and he was, I can't believe it. She got a free coffee. I got charged £3.80 or whatever it was for a coffee, and I went, oh, that's terrible. And then I went over, and they went, this is your show. I have a free coffee. He was devastated, bless him. That's all good, isn't it? Well, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you this evening. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Good luck with everything you're doing next, and let's hope we can get back on stage soon. I think it won't be long. It can't be long now. But
Fingers crossed,
you take care, and we shall speak again soon. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, Rhiannon Porter, thank you.
Bye, thank you.
See you later. Bye-bye. Yes, you're watching StageToStream.tv live from the Neverland Theatre here in the wonderful town of Skeg, Vegas. Are you enjoying yourself this evening, Ruthie?
Always.
Oh, sorry, I didn't turn you on.
Every time.
Every time, isn't it?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I was
How's
just,
social media over there? Is it, you've got something to say?
No, you jump in and ask your questions.
No. I was just wondering how Social Media Corner was, but if you've got something more important to talk about, then give it us.
Tommy is still raging about the coffee and says it was £3.40.
He needs to let it go, really.
I don't think he can. Although when you said Prince for a Day, that sounds like it could be. Sounds like an exciting title, that doesn't it? Prince for a Day.
It's maybe something we could do for
Prince for a Day.
It's something we could do for a competition.
And what? How would that work?
Well, you could become a prince for a day,
Right.
but also pay a lot of money for coffee. So bonus.
Sounds like a terrible show.
I know, but pretty much. There we go then.
Anyway. No, I was just thinking,
Go on.
because Rhiannon was saying about, we had the question about, rituals or whatever going on just before you go on stage, like,
Yeah.
what do you do? And I had this thing, it was me and my mum actually, we had this thing, back in my auditioning days, mums are very supportive, aren't they? They're always there. We had a few things, and it was proven that if one of these things we didn't do in the daytime or the day before or whatever, I generally didn't get the jobs. So these things included, I've got a lucky pink comb, which was my mum's, and I had to make sure I took it with me and used it on my hair. I'm not superstitious. I am, a little bit. And also, it revolved around my mum making sure she had a bagel for her lunch with cream cheese and smoked salmon in it.
Well, it's another interesting story, and one that I think will stay with us for a very long time. Thanks, Ruthie, for that.
Thanks, you're welcome.
It's always a pleasure. It's almost time for our second guest this evening, thankfully, because it's...
What?
No, it's fine.
What are you trying to say?
Whatever.
Oh.
Up next.
Thanks, Mum.
Welcome to the madhouse that is StageToStream.tv. Bippo, how the devil are you, my friend?
I'm very well. I was just listening to Ruthie's very interesting stories about a pink comb, and I nearly fell off the stool, to be honest.
I've just realised that you sat there on Zoom can actually see what I'm doing while she's telling these stories, which is probably not something for air.
You weren't yawning or rolling your eyes or anything. Yeah, I mean, I was gasped. You know, it's mad, the stories coming out of social media corner.
Have you ever had a, like a thing you do before a show, like eat a bagel or use a pink brush?
Or use a pink comb?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. I mean, Circus is really superstitious, so you're not allowed to wear green costumes and this, that, and the other. And a guy that I used to work with called Zippo, he now owns Zippo's Circus, a massive show in England. He used to be a clown himself, and he used to say "be funny" 17 times in the mirror. And it never worked, so I didn't even try it.
Yeah, the ghost of another clown appears behind you when you say it. It's that's weird, isn't it? Yeah. So I didn't know about the green thing. That's something new. Well,
no, that's a thing.
I did circus, and
stage circus everywhere.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, you're not allowed to wear green. You're not allowed to sit with your back facing the ring. So if you're sat facing out of the ring, I think that goes from the times when there was tigers and stuff, so you could get grabbed through the cage. You're not allowed to whistle in a tent because it brings wind, apparently.
Yes. Yeah, that's the same in the theatre, but it's just because it's annoying, I think. I don't know.
Basically, I think it's the same in Circus, to be honest.
So, I mean, you're a world-famous clown now. How did you get into Circus? Well, you are, so you can't pull that face.
Behave yourself. It's a very, very long story. I went to see... I'm not from a circus family at all. My mum was a nursery nurse and my dad used to work for British Gas, and we were just a normal as normal can be family. And they took me to see a circus when I was 4, and it was Zippo's Circus. It was tiny back then, tiny little tent, and it was in Southport. And I became obsessed with it, and every toy that I had as a baby that was clown sort of themed, I used to be obsessed with and stuff, and it sort of stuck with me. And then every sort of birthday and Christmas, my mum and dad bought me different bits of circus stuff, and they thought it was just a phase, and next week it'll be a fireman or a policeman, something that all the other kids in class wanted to be. And I sort of stuck with it, and I started doing my assemblies at school as a clown. We bought this, there was 3 of us, and I mean, I've always been a big guy, and we bought a little 2-berth caravan to go and stay on school holidays. And Circus, you either absolutely love it or you completely hate it. And when we started staying on school holidays with different shows like the Moscow State Circus and Zippos and stuff, my mum and dad fell in love with it as well. And then I've worked at Butlins. I was, we did the relaunch tour when they had the skyline and everything, and I was doing Pontins road shows like when I was a kid, like 7 or 8. And then my dad got made redundant from British Gas. My mum was bored with her job, and we rang up Martin Burton, who is Zippo, and said, "Have you got a job?" So I ran away to join the circus, but I took my mum and dad with me.
That's amazing.
So it's mad. We left. Well, we didn't. My mum and dad left a 4-bedroom house in Manchester for a little 2-berth caravan. And all the circus stuff that goes with it, the electric going off and all things like that. And I've been doing it ever since. That was when I was 9. So this is my 22nd year, which is bonkers, really.
So what did your mum and dad do? Because did you go straight into clowning when you joined the circus? Was it kind of like that, or?
Yeah, well, clowning has always been my thing. I was very, very interested in juggling and stuff, but the clowning and the comedy aspect, there's a guy called Jeff J, who was a trampolinist, not just a trampolinist, just amazing all-round funny person. And he used to do his comedy trampoline act on Zippos, and I was just obsessed with it. And he was one of the first people to get me in the ring. But when we first joined, I couldn't obviously do much because I was a kid, and I could go in the production numbers and bits and pieces. But my mum was Martin Burton's PA for 9 years. So she was just basically a secretary, used to ring up the councils, go to site meetings. And my dad was just the handyman on the show. He used to sort out the water supply on the circuses. And we just carried on and carried on and carried on. And I left Zippos. And because the show that I went to didn't have a job for my mum and dad, they retired because they were only doing it for me anyway.
Yeah.
And then just sort of carried on. So
it's a strange one, isn't it? Because I think a lot of people watching, who see that front side of the circus, they don't realise about things like the electric goes off at night, and even things like water, of trying to get that going to everyone. It was only when I joined, only for a year, so I only know the basics, but. Your eyes are open to things. You don't realise that the struggle that goes on behind. I suppose you get used to eventually, but. Yeah.
You get used to it, and I think as well you adapt to it. Like obviously the more you do it, the nicer sort of, like I started with a tiny little tin box that I used to live in, and now I've got this American caravan that I've got was actually used on the set of Harry Potter.
Amazing.
Yeah, I think the third one, and Daniel Radcliffe stayed in my bed. But that's what I say when people say, "Oh, where do you live?" I say, "Well, I've got this caravan." And whenever you say caravan to sort of people that aren't from the business, they go, "Oh," and they think you do your business in a bucket and throw it out the door, sort of thing. But then I like that Harry Potter story because it is true.
Yeah.
But I always like to say it because then they go, "Oh, actually, if Daniel Radcliffe stayed in it, it must be all right then,"
Yeah.
But I remember being on Hampstead Heath. We were eating our dinner, and this little kid looked through the window and, "Oh, look, mummy, they're eating like normal people." I was like, "Oh, wow!" It is a different world.
Yeah.
But it's not like how some people think it's so different. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I think it conjures up an image, doesn't it? When you go a caravan, you think of that 1970s. That thing, and you just imagine that's what everyone's doing.
You have to wash your hands by pumping the like Lee Evans says and all that. But no, times have changed. I mean, I've seen some of the new stuff that's coming out of America. You walk in, you push a button, your satellite dish pops up and finds the signal, your caravan levels itself, your pull-outs go out, and it's all done. It's like a house, and there's jacuzzis, and there's all sorts, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously mine wasn't a circus upbringing. Mine was holiday parks and that side of it. But the same sort of thing. You learn that there are varying stages of caravans, and as your position goes up, the better it gets. And you start off where for me, I always crack my head on the lights and the doors and everything. And as you got sort of higher in the ranking, you had a higher roof. That was what you aspired to. So it was beautiful.
And you weren't sharing with one of the cleaners.
Yeah. And 4 other people. Yeah. Sort of share your shifts. It was, but it's, I kind of, I still miss that life, that sort of, and I certainly miss the circus. The circus, I have this conversation so many times with people that say, "Oh, I'd love to do that," blah, blah, blah. And you just go, it was literally the best thing I ever did. There was just something so magical about whatever theatre I've ever done or any venue I've ever done. There was something so magical and just kind of raw about walking into sawdust and that smell and that audience.
I think it's a bit gladiatorial as well. I know that sounds a bit dramatic, but in a theatre, because since I've been doing theatre as well, like it feels a lot more not disconnected, because you're very, very connected, especially panto and stuff. But in a circus, they're literally sat every inch around you.
Yeah.
And they're all raised up, and it all goes up. Like one of the first big jobs I did was the Hippodrome in Yarmouth, and the seats literally go from the ring straight up. So your eye level, if you stand on the ring fence, your eye level with the 9th or 10th row. So all the people there, it's like they're sat on stage or in the ring with you.
Yeah.
And it is a bit, and I get more nervous doing circus than I do theatre because of that sort of rawness. And I think there's a lot more, because there is a few shows in England that are not very good. I think there's a lot of preconceived notion where families will turn up and go, "Yeah, we'll have a light for £12 and we'll have a popcorn for 50 quid, and we've been fleeced, right, entertain us," and they sit there.
Yeah.
Whereas theatre, they go and they'll have a can of Coke for £95 50 pence.
Yeah.
And they'll have an ice cream at the interval for £100, but it's all right because it's theatre.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's a tented field,
yeah.
they go, we bought a flashing light for £12. That's a rip. All right, come on, entertain. And then they don't laugh, and they do, hopefully. But they don't, you know what I mean? They're not as responsive as like a theatre. Oh, that was a reasonable night out, and you have a programme for 50 quid. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
It's very,
absolutely.
It's a weird way that people's sort of minds work and stuff.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's almost that kind of, like you say, the theatre is, because it's I would say, established kind of sort of nuance that you go to and you see a show and that's what you do and that's how you behave. And then suddenly, well, like it's a tent in a field. But I don't know, there was just something about that I've never experienced before and probably won't again unless I go back to Circus, which I will do. I stopped performing properly about 5-6 years ago. And I was like, it doesn't do anything for me anymore. I'm not bothered about it. I'm quite happy to write and produce and do that side of it. But I've kind of cut my teeth and done, and done what I wanted to do. And then when I was asked to go into the Circus, I was like, yeah, okay, well, I'll do it. I'm probably, I don't really want to go back and perform again. And from the moment I walked in, I was like, this is a whole new world. It's just complete magic, and it's so weird to explain unless you've done it.
Yeah, and I think by the end of the show with circuses as well, it's a bit like a tribal mentality. If you really get an audience when you're doing a circus show, if you really get them on side at the end, it can be like a riot, like I do Butlins for like the last few summers and stuff, and because they're on holiday as well, they're even more up for it. And obviously before the pandemic and everything, we used to stand outside to say goodbye for photos and stuff, and we had to stop because people weren't leaving and going watching the other shows that were on next. And it's a very, not regimental at Butlins, but that show finishes, then you got to go over that, you've got to plan your sort of entertainment evenings and stuff. And they actually asked us to stop because they were treating that like another sort of form of show, and all we were doing was stood talking, obviously still in character. I was Joey in, and Joel the ringmaster was being himself and stuff. But it was like a tribal mentality. It was like, I think theatre probably would be like that as well, but I've never experienced it like that in theatre. You always go out the stage door, you have a few people saying thank you, great show, and like in Liverpool, there's a pub, sort of the Pullman Hotel with like a restaurant and stuff, and we tend to go there after the shows and stuff. And there's always a few people, and it's very much like, "Oh, well done, thank you." Whereas on a circus, it's like mad. It's like they're your mates. It's like the family, and it's strange. It is a weird one.
Yeah, and exactly the same thing. Where we always used to, when the show finished, we'd filter out and then be on the doors as everybody left, and it would take half an hour for people to go out because they want to talk to you, have a photo, and I think with the theatre side of it, it is almost like you've seen your show, off you go. If you want to meet them, then you might meet them at the door, but that's kind of it might happen, it might not. But with that, it was just like, literally, it was almost what you would expect showbiz to be. Do you know what I mean? You're there, you've done your show, come and see us, and that sort of thing. How did you find the crossover from going from circus to theatre? Was that an easy sort of step across?
With circus and clowning, you sort of you get clowns. Sorry, that's my dog, by the way. It's not my partner snoring.
We don't mind dogs on this show. Don't worry, I've got 4 of them.
I've got a little pug, and
amazing.
She finds it out. Yeah. Anyway, Lola. What was I saying? Oh yeah, sorry, circus. Yeah, when you get booked as a clown for a circus, the way they work out wages and things like that, they always say, right, we want 4 gags, and that's your little gags. Or they'll say, we want 5 run-ins and 1 entree, which is a longer gag. Or they always book it in gags, and you kind of get left to do what you want, as long as they trust you enough to go, we know what this guy's going to do is funny. Or if they've seen you do a gag on another show, they can go, oh, we liked your boxing gag there, or we liked your inflatable suit there, so can you do that in between that bit? We think so. You always take that sort of direction from them, but 9 times out of 10 they just sort of go, right, we've got Bippo this year, that prop needs changing, so we need something there, Bips, and we've got that. So you kind of get left alone, whereas theatre and panto, obviously, you've got cue lines for people, and you've got to think about staging, up stage left, down stage right. It's like, what? Hang on, circus, it is in the round, so you have to perform and always remember to perform in the round. but upstage, downstage, middle portal. At first, I literally, the first one I did was Rotherham. And I remember the dame going, for God's sake, come on, like, keep up. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Every time we came up, I'm so sorry. And another thing I had to learn was planting.
Yeah.
Because in circus, you've always got to remember the people in the side view. So on the stage, because I didn't have to do that, I did a bit of a Titanic sort of walking backwards and forwards, it was on a ship doing this. And the first time I worked with Danny Mills, I love him to pieces. He used to literally say, stand still, because it's so difficult. He said, you're making me exhausted because I've got to chase you around the stage. And I get very, very frantic when I work anyway in circus and that. So, and because I wasn't planting either, it was just like this weird sort of energy. So I think now I'm settled in. I still do move about a lot. And I think that's what I'll always be like. Some people have. Yeah. If you don't like it,
don't hire me.
Don't like it, don't send the contract.
That's what I do. I move, so I don't plant fully. So right, we're going to go to Ruthie in Social Media Corner. Hello, Ruthie.
Hello.
Are you all right?
I'm great. How are you?
Yes, good. Well, how's social media going? I can see it flying away.
Got lots of questions.
Go for it.
Lots and lots. A few I don't fully understand. We've got James Harrison asking, how's the highway? Thing. There's lots of things I don't understand, but you might want to just hop on the comments afterwards, Bippo, and have a look at some of those.
Highway, is that a circus highway? I don't
know.
I
think it's that something. It's breaking down, isn't it, and moving all the time.
That's the one.
Yeah.
He did a beautiful
Lots of
song.
highway travelled in the circus business.
Yeah, and he did a beautiful song he did the jingle, didn't he, Ruth? It's my way or the highway. It was beautiful.
Very nice.
Yeah, we're going to adapt that.
That was last. Good old James.
Good old James. Go on, give us another one, Ruth.
Okay. We want to know, do you prefer stage or circus?
Ooh.
Oh, don't ask that.
Because there might be people watching.
People, personally. To be honest, I love both because I'm very, very lucky to work for Sean, who he doesn't write it for me because that sounds like he writes it for me, but he takes the lead off for me for Panto, and it's so good to be able to just sort of go, there's the skeleton of the gag, here's the sort of words, just go for it, and I'm very, very lucky to have sort of been able to, because I think if I was sort of locked in to like, I don't know, but I reckon I would have struggled. But I mean, circus is so free and it's so, that's such a difficult question, to be honest.
I think whichever you have, I think you just need that trust of whoever takes you on to go, that's what I do, and to let you roll with it, isn't it?
And as well, like, circus is my first love. And I will always, circus has got me through a lot as well. Like, it's really hard times and all sorts of stuff. And that, if I wasn't doing that and had that, that feeling that you just described, pardon me, where you say it's like no other, that is very, very true. And it's that feeling that you talked about has that, and this isn't me being emotional and trying to be all like this for the camera, it has got me through a lot. And anybody that knows me knows that as well. They know that if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be still working now in entertainment, and I probably wouldn't have the friendship circles I've got and have the experiences that I've had, because I wouldn't have kept going. I would have just led a normal life and stopped everything completely but it's got me through. It's amazing. But I don't know, I love theatre, I love circus, I love them both, but they are both polar opposite in a lot of ways as well.
Without a doubt. Ruthie, give us another one.
Okay, this is a slightly trickier one. So obviously you talked about before how you got into the circus. And obviously there's, generally as it goes, it's generation upon generation, isn't it? It sort of filters down, you're brought up around the circus. But have you got any advice for anyone that's not been born into sort of a circus family, has connections and things like that? How would they go about getting into the industry to sort of train and sort of pick a speciality as such? Any advice?
It's a weird one, because my route in was persistence, and a lot of people used to call my mum a pushy parent, but she wasn't. She's, do you say enabler, or does that sound a bit?
Supportive.
We know what you mean.
Supportive.
Yeah, she's sort of supportive. There you go, not an enabler. What's wrong with me? But if it wasn't for them going and staying on school holidays and stuff, then I probably wouldn't have been in it. But Circus is a very closed circle a lot of the times, and if you watch a lot of the shows in England, they have the same acts that have been on other circuses, and it's like Tetris. They all swap over. Oh, who have you got this year? Oh, we've got such and such a troupe. Oh, weren't they on Zippos last year? Yeah, they were. And it's like, I don't know, because I think it's a trust thing, because you can book artists who are complete knobs. Am I allowed to say that on here?
You can do. Say what you
It's
want.
out there now.
Yeah.
You can book people like that, and obviously on a circus, because you live and work together, when there are people of that ilk, it's like, oh God, it makes the whole 9 months just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So it's a trust thing, like, oh, they've lasted on that show, so they'll definitely last on our show and stuff. But I think now it's still persistence, but I think I don't even think people send DVDs much anymore and stuff. A lot of it's who you know, how you talk, and it's networking. It's like a lot of things. It's networking, sending messages, going visiting shows, speaking to people. Like when I used to work on a show called John Lawson's Circus, and me and the ringmaster again used to stand and say goodbye to everybody. And there was a few people there. Oh, I'm a juggler, and Attila's the director's brother-in-law. So Attila used to say, oh, show me your stuff. And then he used to get links, and people have been booked through that. So it's sort of networking, who you know. And my advice is just keep going. And no matter how much, I worked for a circus called Circus Mondeo years ago, and we got to one ground up north, and Gracie, one of the directors, went, Petra, do you remember there was that little kid that used to be really annoying and turn up with a bag of juggling balls? And I sat there at Gracie, that was me. No, what? And I've got pictures out, and from Circus King years ago, that was Gracie Timmis's relative, and I used to turn up, bag of juggling balls, stand there juggling, and I'm not saying do that, because you will probably get arrested nowadays, but it's one of them where persistence is key, and it's like theatre, networking, and sending videos, and becoming friends with people, and social media, and all that sort of stuff, and sticking to it. Really, a lot of times I've wanted to just pack it all in and just go, what am I doing? Why am I even bothering? And just keep going. Going. There's nothing else to do.
We've got a message that's come in, and I'm going to pick up on this because it's quite relevant. Valentin said, how's dad life? Because you had a lockdown baby, I believe. Is that what we're calling it?
It's mad. Apparently, we weren't socially distant, but my partner did wear a mask, funnily enough. Anyway, we move on. We tried for a baby for 6 years, and we went for a round of IVF. Funnily enough, that's when I was on tour with Rollo and all that, and it sadly failed. And when we were going through the IVF, we had to fill in forms, and you go for sort of appointments and stuff, and they ask you a lot about your lifestyle and things to try and see if they can sort it out that way before they get to the actual IVF cycle and stuff. And they ask questions like, do you live a stressful life? And I remember sitting there with my partner going, no, I'm a clown. Like, we mess about, we have barbecues in fields, and not. But then lockdown happened, and we weren't on tour, and we weren't I genuinely wasn't thinking about work or anything. Like, I don't think anybody else was. And she fell pregnant, and I mean, she had fun. Probably what? I don't know. I'm getting some emails. I don't know why I said she had fun. I was gonna.
He's on a tangent.
But yeah, I've had a lockdown baby. It's just lovely.
That's good. We got there. She enjoyed it. It's good. Well done. So. Well done. Okay, we got time for one more. I'm going to go to Ruth. Come on, Ruth.
Okay, I've got another one. Okay, we want to know your most memorable moment / mishap.
Ooh.
on stage, obviously, or
Or
in the
ring.
circus.
Yeah.
I nearly kicked a Christmas tree onto Prince Charles. That was quite.
That's all you need. You can stop with that. I kicked a tree at a prince.
And I wasn't even performing. I just turned up at his house.
Kicked a tree at him.
No, I performed at. This sounds really name dropping. Performed at St James's Palace for the Not Forgotten Heroes Association, and Prince Charles and Camilla were there, and I was doing my knockabout acrobatic slapstick table act, which I used to do when I was thin and Just Eat and Uber Eats didn't exist. And they sent me the stage spec and all that, and it was all very professional. And back then I was proper circus. Yeah, I can do it. I can do my acting on a I don't know, a beer crate. I can do it anywhere. I can do it. And I didn't look at these specs or anything. And we turned up, and a lot of the act was like diving over this table, and like doing a forward roll. And it was all about me trying to get onto this table to then do the roller, to then juggle, to then, that sort of thing. And I turned up, and there was this tiny stage, and I mean, minute. And they went, "Oh, can you do it on that?" And they're really sort of nervous, like, we've just traveled 300 miles from up north to do this, and my parents are here, and I'm performing for Prince Charles. Inside me went, yeah, I can, yeah. So it gets to it, and obviously the adrenaline kicks in, and I run and do the dive over the table, do the roll, and as I'm coming out of the roll, my feet hit there was a big Christmas tree at the side of the stage, and it was weighted obviously at the bottom, and it went, and everyone like this, because Prince Charles and Camilla are sat there, and then it went like that, and it actually got a cheer and a round of applause.
Amazing. Meant to do it.
I was like, oh, it's such a shame it didn't happen, because I reckon I'd be famous by now, but it was nice. And then we met up with them. We didn't meet up with them. We went to the pub with them after. No, we did the line at the end, and he said, "Oh, your makeup is better than Camilla's." And to be honest, it was. She looked awful.
I was going to follow that, but I'm not going to, just in case the royals are watching. You never know. So it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you this evening. Thank you, my friend. We definitely must do more. We must chat more, and also meet up when you get here back in Skegness. Are you coming back to Skegness this year, or?
I'm doing a lot of Just for Tots breaks at Butlins with my own show.
Amazing.
They've offered me a few dates for this year, so you know what it's like, Bognor Minor, Skegness and stuff. So I probably will end up back in Skegness. If not, I'll have a day trip up.
Absolutely, yes. Bring the family. Wonderful, my friend. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Bippo, thank you, my friend. See you later.
Something magical is coming this Easter. Live on Stage to Stream, our brand new online panto, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Join Dorothy Gale, the Cowardly Lion, Tin Man, and the Scarecrow in a brand new online magical adventure. Live this Easter at www.stagetostream.tv. The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, live online this Easter. For more information, visit our website at www.stagetostream.tv.
Welcome back to the final part of StageToStream.tv, live from the Neverland Theatre here in Skegness. It's been a wonderful evening this evening. I've really enjoyed it. Have you, Ruthie?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun, hasn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, two fabulous guests this evening. Lovely to chat. Speaking of guests, we need more people, don't we, Ruth?
We do, yeah.
Yeah, we need more people to come and join us. So if you want to be part of it, we've got a couple of spaces left this week and then on to next week. Anybody in the biz that wants to come and chat to us and have a bit of a a chat about entertainment and all that, those sort of things, then do get in touch with Ruth at GaryStarPantomimes.co.uk. Thanks to everybody who's joined us this evening on social media. It's been wonderful to see David Burton, Karen Hewitt, Valentin, and so many others. So thank you for joining in and being part of it this evening. Oh, Andrew Merrills plus Becky has just liked the page. Thank you very much. Ruthie, have you got a final thought for the evening before we go?
Yes.
Go on.
Does expecting the unexpected make the unexpected expected?
It's been a pleasure. Say good night, Ruthie.
Good night, Ruthie.
It's always a pleasure. Hope you've enjoyed yourself this evening. Don't forget we're back tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Ruth, who's on tomorrow night?
Oh, I'm back.
Oh, hello, yeah.
Great.
Go on.
So tomorrow night, I thought you'd forgotten about me.
No.
Tomorrow night, we have got another 2 fabulous guests for you. We've got the one and only Mr. Simon Shaw. He's going to be here live. Simon is an actor, writer, and horror play enthusiast. I think
Nice.
we can put him in the bracket of. He's going to be talking all things acting. He's written his own show for Edinburgh Fringe. There's all different types of things going on there.
good.
So that's certainly going to be something a little bit different. And then later on tomorrow, we've got the one and only Mr. Ross Gunning. He's going to be joining us as well. Now, Ross is an advocate for giving young performers amazing performance opportunities, and he also brings stars of like West End, London, up to Scotland. He's the producer of movies to musicals. He's a man that wears many hats. He's going to be very exciting to talk to. Yeah.
It's been a pleasure. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, Ruthie.
Bye.
Oh, bye. Oh, hope you've enjoyed yourself this evening. Don't forget to join us tomorrow night from 6 p.m. live here on stagestream.tv, live from the Neverland Theatre here in Skegness. But in the meantime, from all of us, a very good night. Good night then.